Que hola, soy Román González, le mando un saludo a todos los fans, bendiciones, cuídense.
Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Yeah, and also he is throwing all the time more than 1,000 punches, and also he has a good defense. That is few fighters in the world have a good attack and also a good defense.
And footwork, because he pivots around you.
Yeah. We say in Spanish el péndulo, paso del péndulo. Yeah. So Chocolate has that. And also the other difficult thing that I have, I talked with Carlos Cuadras, I talked with Francisco El Gallo Estrada, with a lot of fighters, and he told me that one thing is when you see Chocolatito in the video, another is when it's in front of you. It's
the flyweight.
Small,
the lower weight.
Yeah. Chocolatito is a fighter in that category that has won more money around in the old story of the box. Chocolatito has earned probably more than $5 million.
That's a lot.
All career.
Because with the, I know with the Estrada fight, that was the first time any fighter in that category had made $1 million in a fight since Chocolatito Gonzalez and Carvajal. Way back.
Yeah, and also you have to know that in both fights against Ruby Sai, he earned $1 million. You have to plus both fights. Then with Brian Viloria, he earned, with Carlos Cuadra, he earned $4,100.
4,000, yep.
Yeah, so he has earned a lot of money. I think that is the boxer in that category that has earned more money in the story of the box.
He's like the Mayweather or the Canelo of the lower, because of the money he made.
Yesterday I have the opportunity to talk very fast with him, and I said, you are the Canelo Alvarez of the small category, because everybody wanna fight with you, because everybody who fight with you earn the best
money.
The purse is the best. Ray Martinez said that he's earning his best purse of the career of his career. So you have to know that Chocolatito is like an exception of the small category.
He's far exceeded.
The stage, needing no introduction, the world round. His professional record, 50 victories, 3 defeats with 41 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the former 4 division world champion, what's widely regarded as the best pathway fighter, presentando el orgullo de Barrio Esperanza, la capital de Nicaragua. Here is the former middleweight world champion, the former flyweight world champion, the former flyweight world champion, and the former super flyweight champion.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I made that video like maybe 2 months ago or a month and a half ago when the Chocolatito Gallo Estrada third trilogy fight was signed, and I was kind of pessimistic, and I'm like, oh, I'm not excited about the fight because they may rob Chocolatito, they may do this, they may do that. But listen, man, the closer this fight gets, the fact that Romeo Gonzalez is going to be fighting again in 2022. I mean, I'm happy. I'm overjoyed about it. I can't wait for it because we're at a stage of Romeo Gonzalez's career where like any fight could be his last, and he could fall off a cliff. Like as far as because he's 35 years old. He's really at this point his legacy cemented. He's playing with house money right now. A lot of people didn't even think he would become world champion again after he got knocked out by Rungvisai. So everything he's accomplished after that second Rungvisai fight is just like, cherries on top of what's already a great, amazing, one-of-a-kind, pristine, creme de la creme, top shelf, first ballot Hall of Fame resume with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. But, I was thinking about it, right? I was thinking about this deeply the other day, because we're like, what? We're in 2022 going into 2023. So we're like 7-8 years in. You could say in the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era. Although Pacquiao fought after the Mayweather fight, I think the mark of the Pacquiao-Mayweather era was truly 2015 when they fought. After that, that's when boxing kind of started looking for its next big stars of the sport. And I feel like when you talk about the guys that have filled that void and done a great job, for people. in this post Mayweather-Pacquiao era, the guy has been one of those guys I feel like has been Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. I know some people may say Canelo. I know some people may say Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence, but for me, it's not even close who the best fighter in the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era is, and it's by 10,000 miles. It's Roman Gonzalez. It's Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Now, people may say, well, BT, how could he be the best fighter in the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era when he's got 3 losses, right? He's been knocked out. He lost a fight to Rung Vasai when he was pound for pound number 1, and he lost to Guile. So how could he be the best? Well, look, my thing is this. I think in the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era, especially when PBC came in, the one thing that's been lacking a lot in boxing has been activity. So I feel like if you're a fighter that's fought, if you could fight, 2-3 times a year at championship level and do that, consistently, which he's been able to do many times throughout the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era, then you already stand out just because you're more visible. That's number one. Number two, once you're an active fighter, the important thing is not so much how you not so much just that you win, but how are you performing at the championship level of boxing. And I with all due respect, I really don't feel like there's been a better championship level performer in boxing apart from Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao than Roman Gonzalez, to be honest with you, because if you look at Roman Gonzalez's championship resume, forget the resume as a whole, just look at what he's done in world title fights. He's 16-3 with 10 knockouts, and that's very hard to do. That's what, so you're over 60% knockout ratio, and then factor in that 2 of those losses are very questionable. The first Rung Vasai fight, very questionable. The Guile Estrada fight, extremely questionable. So really, his real record could be 18-1 with 10 knockouts. You know what I'm saying, at the world championship level. But I feel like his world championship resume, the fact that he's been active, the fact that he's fights in one of boxing's most stacked weight classes and has managed to do things that we have not seen from guys in this weight class at his age. For those that know, for those that don't know, even some of the greatest fighters like Ricardo Lopez, these guys are finished at flyweight. These guys are finished at 31, 32, 30 years old, sometimes 29, because of the high level of punches that are thrown, the war of attritions that can happen in these weight classes. But with Chocolatito Gonzalez, he's gonna fight Guile Estrada in the 3rd fight, and he's 35 years old still today. You could argue, he may just be the best super flyweight in the world. There's a legitimate argument to be had that even in his worst form, at the old age that he's at, that he's still quite possibly the best super flyweight in the world today. You look at the skills. You look at how what kind of skill set does he bring to the table? He brings a very educated set of defensive techniques to the table, with the active high guard and the pivots and the catch and shoot, and just the way he's able to flawlessly and fluidly step around opponents and create new punch angles. I mean, when you talk about boxing, guys that are boxing, guys that you would say this guy is a representative of what boxing is truly about, it would be Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Like, all respect to Canelo Alvarez, I've talked a lot of shit about Canelo in the past, but I'm being objective right now. It's one thing to get knocked out in a world championship fight, because plenty of fighters, even some of the best, like Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. There's some fighters that get knocked out, they get hit with a lucky punch, or a guy just has an off night and they get knocked out. But to me, it's much worse when you're in a world championship fight. If you're in a world championship fight and 2 fighters are looked at to be on the equal playing field, if you get out boxed 10 out of 12 rounds or get shut out, and the fight is looked at to be somewhat equal or even going into the fight, then that to me is actually worse than getting knocked out, because when you get knocked out, that can happen with anybody. The best fighter has been knocked out. Like I said, Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. Ken Shiro, great 108-pound champion, was knocked out by Masamichi Ibuki, but then when they fought again, Masamichi Ibuki couldn't replicate it. So if we're comparing Roman Gonzalez and Canelo Alvarez's championship performance, I mean, Canelo, when he stepped up to the best and fought Floyd, got absolutely freaking schooled. I mean, he didn't get knocked out, but as the bigger man, as the bigger, younger, fresher man, got absolutely schooled by Floyd, lost like the whole fight, pretty much 12 rounds. Then later on, years later, when people believed him to be in his prime and he had built up this aura of invincibility, and he fought Dmitry Bivol, same thing, you know, gets outboxed 10, 12 rounds in dominant fashion. And for Roman Gonzalez, he's lost some fights controversially but close. He's been knocked out once, but he's never, ever in his life been outboxed 10 rounds or 10 rounds out of 12 or 11 rounds out of 12 or the whole fight 12 rounds out of 12. So to me, it goes to show you that his performances are just a little bit higher than Canelo's, as great as Canelo has been. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, great fighters, you know. Can't say nothing bad about them, you know, as far as what they've done in the ring with the guys they've been put in front of. But, you know, they haven't even fought the best people in the weight class. Errol Spence hasn't fought, he didn't fight Pacquiao. He didn't fight Keith Thurman. He's probably gonna fight him now, but he didn't fight Keith Thurman, and he didn't fight Crawford. And then vice versa goes for Crawford. He did some great things at 140, 135, but he still lacks that signature win. So as great as those guys are, and as great as their performances have been, we can call into question how great they are because of the fact that they haven't really tested themselves at the highest of levels. And even if they do, even if they fight each other, okay, congratulations, you already did what Roman Gonzalez did 10 years ago when he fought Gaio and Brian Valoria and all the top guys in his weight class. So there has been no fighter in the post-Mayweather-Pacquiao era that has carried boxing in a more dignified and proud way than Roman Gonzalez. He's fought all the best people that were available to him. I mean, you look at the guys like, Quadras, fought him with no tune-ups, first fight at 115, undefeated WBC champion. Brian Valoria, great fighter. Kiriagashi, lineal flyweight champion and multiple-time world champion. Gaio Estrada, one of the best pound fighters in the world. And you just look at like even some of these guys that people say would beat him and this, that, and the third. Like look at Bam Rodriguez, right? Bam Rodriguez moved down in weight, you know, because he moved down in weight because that's a fight that people are gonna call for next. I know they got Mr. Honda, but like that's not a fight that was made next. And Chocolatito's so good that after Bam had that bad performance against Israel Gonzalez, who Roman Gonzalez mopped the floor with, people still believe Chocolatito could beat Bam Rodriguez. So it shows you how great he's viewed to be at 35 years old. Look at like also even like a Junto Nakatani, a younger champion that was at 112. Now he's at 115. His first fight at 115, he took on the former world champion Francisco Rodriguez Jr., who's on the latter stages of his career. But Roman Gonzalez fought him, you know, when he was in his prime and stopped him in 7 rounds. This guy took Nakatani, a young, fresh Nakatani, the distance and gave him some fits. So all I'm saying is, look, you can say Roman Gonzalez got knocked out and maybe he's fallen short a couple fights due to bad scoring or maybe just barely lost. But there has been, make no mistakes about it, there has been no fighter in the post-Mayweather-Pacquiao era that has tested themselves more, that has performed better at a championship level, that has displayed the highest level of skills, that has had more consistent elite performances than Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And for that reason, I don't know what's going to happen in the third Gaio fight. I think he'll win. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But the fact that he's still 35, arguably still to this day, the #1 super flyweight in the world active right now, it goes to show you his greatness. It goes to show you that, hey, there's a lot of guys that are hyped up, and there's a lot of guys that, you know, they surpass the hype. And he's one of them guys that surpassed the hype. He's one of them guys that, you know, when he leaves the sport of boxing, we're going to be waiting a long time for somebody to fill the shoes of Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, because it's big shoes to fill. It's a high standard to live up to. And yeah, just want to make this video as an appreciation video heading into the third Gaio fight. Roman Gonzalez is the best fighter in the post Mayweather-Pacquiao era, and you know, anybody you can name, you know, if they have an undefeated record, they probably don't have the amount of fights and haven't tested themselves at the championship level as much and as highly as Chocolatito has. And if they have, like a Canelo Alvarez, they just haven't performed when they fought their best available opponents. They haven't performed. They've been losing 10 rounds, 11 rounds. So some food for thought. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Roman Gonzalez, the best fighter in the Mayweather-Pacquiao, post-Mayweather-Pacquiao era, and the guy that I truly believe has carried boxing and represented it in the most dignified fashion humanly possible. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.
Just like Mayweather's uncles would say, a lot of people don't know shit about boxing. You do. You've done
Thank
it.
you.
You about the only smart guy that I know, bro. Nobody knows shit about boxing.
I appreciate it, man.
I want to say, man, make sure to follow True School Sports, always covering boxing at the highest level, man, and make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Instagram at Just a Kid from Danny as well.
He the plug.